We are at the Dr. William A. Chapman house in Overtown, Florida. A unique thing about Dr. William Chapman is that he was on the auxiliary board for Dade County Public Schools in early Miami. Let's go back to a snippet of a video that I did a few years ago and then come back to this house. Yes, the Dade County School Board did exist in the 1920s in early Miami. However, no one of color was actually on it. What the Dade County School Board did, however, they created an auxiliary board. The auxiliary board consisted of prominent people of color, such as Miami's first black millionaire, D.A. Dorsey, the first black to be recognized as a physician in the state of Florida, Dr. William Chapman, and the first black dentist in Miami, Dr. John R. Scott. Although this auxiliary board had no power per se, it was important because it helped to provide important resources to the black community in South Florida when it came to education. So be it an efficient busing system so that colored students can get to the schools that they attended, be it textbooks if they were needed, be it a library if it was needed, be it more teachers if they were needed. The auxiliary board brought these problems and these needs to the table at the school board meetings. Just because these problems or issues were brought to the school board meetings by the auxiliary board didn't necessarily mean A, that they were addressed appropriately, and B, that funding was allotted as requested. The auxiliary board had to really push for the things that were needed in the black community. And again, even if they got the things that were needed, many times they were not of the best quality, like textbooks, or they would get less of. Like instead of getting 5 bathrooms, the school would get 2 bathrooms, as opposed to the white counterpart that would get 5 bathrooms. As was just mentioned, Dr. Chapman was the first black physician to become a member of the Florida State Board of Health. He excelled in his studies. He attended Florida A&M College, now known as Florida A&M University. He attended Morris Brown College, and he attended Meharry Medical School. He would practice medicine by visiting homes of the sick in Overtown, and he also had a medical office attached to his home. When doing research on Dr. Chapman, I noticed a pattern. The pattern is that most of the sources talk more about his home than about him. His home is unique in that it was probably the best home, the best, most well-built home, and the largest home in Overtown. Okay? And what's also so unique about visiting his home is that you can see history in action. Looking up, you'll notice the expressway right next to his home, and that's pretty symbolic. It's symbolic for the fact that back in the 60s, when the expressway was built, many people in Overtown had to leave and go to other places in Miami to live because of the urban renewal. One thing you'll notice is that his home is on the property, or it seems to be on the property, of Booker T. Washington Senior High School. But it's really enriching to be on the property of one of the first black physicians here in Miami. Now, as we continue moving to the back, I will assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, and probably I'll come with another video correcting myself, but this white part of the home, in my opinion, it could be where he practiced medicine. That's probably the part of the house where he had his patients come. That's what it looks like to me. Just look at it. It's giving, medical office vibes. Okay, so we're walking back to the driveway. And we're going to notice the highway in a second. I want to come back out a little bit, and I want to turn around and back up a little bit, and we're going to notice the highway. You see the highway? That highway is going through everything that was the Harlem Renaissance of the South. It was all deleted because of urban renewal, because of that highway. Okay? And here's a more broad view of his home/office. Now, if you're a member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, be proud, because Dr. Chapman seemed to be a proud member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. He was a member of Greater Bethel AME Church in Overtown. He was a connectional lay person, a class leader, and a steward. And he was extremely involved in the 11th Episcopal District. The 11th Episcopal District means the state of Florida in AME church terms. So upon, reading this book, Linkages and Legacies, put together by the Links Incorporated. They did some profiles on prominent people in Miami, and they interviewed his daughter. Dr. Chapman's daughter said that my father was accepted in the community as someone who's very humble and polite. He felt we should be a friend to all men. He was truly a Christian person. So there you have it. One of the first black physicians here in South Florida, a member of many local organizations, a member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and a member of the Colored Advisory Board, I like to say the Auxiliary Board for Dade County Public Schools in early Miami, Dr. William A. Chapman. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me share.